This thing on?
Oh yeah, it's on.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. We're looking good this morning. All right. Don't do that. Come on. I'm just trying to prop us up.
I think you're looking good. You are propped up, literally.
I'm on the box. Yes,
He's on a
Dillon
box.
is very tall.
Make fun of Scott.
We all know about it.
Aha.
All right. I'm Scott Engen, Dillon Vogt joining us. Before we get to the weather here, just want to tell the folks you can make sure to watch us on Facebook Live every morning around 8 o'clock. We go live. You can also watch and listen to this live stream later through the InForum YouTube channel or on your favorite podcast platform. It's just a great way to get all your local headlines for the day and start out with a couple smiling faces. All right, Dillon, you were outside this morning. Weather, not terrible, but there was some fog out there and some snow coming down because of said fog, kind of.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of freezing fog lately, which has given us all those pictures of the rime ice.
Mm-hmm.
We've had tons of those. A lot of rime ice in Fargo this morning. Once the sun comes up, it looked pretty nice out there. But also this morning, we had usually freezing fog is between temperatures below freezing, but once we get so cold, below freezing, below 32, about 14 degrees is roughly the temperature which the water droplets that make up the fog, they turn into ice crystals because the water just can't stay water when it gets so cold. What happens is those ice crystals, they have to go somewhere, so they fall to the ground. It kind of looks like it's snowing. That's kind of what we had this morning.
Yeah.
Some light snow, and from the fog we had, and actually there's a light dusting of snow on some of the side streets. So it's definitely cool, but also there's still a lot of fog out there. Dense fog advisory in effect for much of the Southern Valley until noon. Mm-hmm. And so take it slow. And I was outside this morning, and you went through town, it wasn't so bad. And then you got out of town, and it was really bad. And then it wasn't so bad. Fog moves a little bit, so it's
kind of depends where you're at.
Yes, some of you may say there is no fog. What are you talking about? Well, it moves, and there's some spots where you can't see 100 feet in front of your car.
Yeah, when I was driving into work this morning, it was really bad. About 3 a.m. between that intersection of I-94 and I-29 in Fargo. It was like you barely see in front of your car. It was kind of crazy.
Yep,
so.
And within 5 minutes, it just slowly moves around.
Yep.
So just take it slow. Plan a little bit extra for your commute, and I guess if you get there a little early, you get there a little early, but plan for fog.
Yeah,
so
sounds good. Anything else that you want to add, Dillon, or are you good?
No, pretty quiet.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate
Gotcha.
you. All right, let's talk about some local headlines this morning. A Fargo man who is accused of attacking 2 young girls is due in court and expected to change his plea. Now, we first told you about 73-year-old Larry Baldner in September of 2021. When police say he attacked the children while shouting racial slurs at them. It happened in the driveway adjacent to Baldner's twin home. His pretrial conference was supposed to start today, but court filings show that's now canceled. Baldner instead has changed that to a plea hearing set for 9 o'clock this morning, so we'll have updates on that once we know more what comes out of that. He previously pleaded not guilty to 2 felony charges and 1 misdemeanor. All right. Also, another court story. A man suspected of being involved in multiple shooting incidents is expected in court today. 21-year-old Braden Poitra was arrested Saturday without an incident on a felony warrant out of Minnesota. Currently, he's being held in jail for attempted murder and is being charged for his alleged role in a shooting last Tuesday. And now he's also suspected of having a role in a drive-by shooting that happened in Clay County back in August, although no formal charges have been brought forward against him in that second incident. All right, new this morning, we now know the name of an 85-year-old man who died in a house fire. Let's see if I can get his name right. His name was Gene Demartelaire. Excuse me. He was inside that home at the time. It happened Sunday night near the shoreline of Lake Irene. The victim's son spotted this fire while he was in another building on the same property. Deputies say that he tried to get inside and actually save his father's life, but the smoke and the flames were just too much. They were too dense. He couldn't do that. So after knocking down the flames, first responders found Gene's body and a dog inside the burnt home. Now, they're still working to figure out what exactly caused this fire. We don't know just yet, but they do say there's nothing suspicious about it. They don't suspect foul play or arson, anything like that. All right, on the political realm, a new state legislative session is set to begin, and the state is expected to pass the largest investment in public education in state history, and we're referring to Minnesota in this case. Governor Tim Walz talked about the investment at his inauguration when he took the oath of office for the second time yesterday. The oath was administered by Judge Jonathan Judd, who is the former mayor of Moorhead, interestingly enough. In his speech, Walz reflected on the challenges of the pandemic, and particularly in schools throughout the state. And so this is kind of one of the main themes of that speech he gave yesterday. They're looking to pass a massive spending bill for education in Minnesota. Minnesota also set to look at a recreational marijuana bill. Of course, WDAY will keep you updated on both of those. All right, also in North Dakota today, the 2023 legislative session begins as well, and Governor Doug Burgum is set to deliver his State of the State address at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Burgum's staff tells WDAY that he will give updates on North Dakota's progress and all of the future opportunities the state has in front of it. Kind of exciting. All right, also today, you can mark the end of your holiday season by throwing out that Christmas tree. I know it's kind of a sad time when you have to put the Christmas tree on the curb, but if you're like me, you have a fake one, you just put it in a box and then put it in your garage, and then you have it next year. But yeah, if you have a real tree, you're probably about the time to get rid of it. So here are some details on that. Today in Moorhead and in West Fargo, crews will be picking up those Christmas trees during regular garbage stops. Those pickups will last until January 13th. Now in Fargo, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer until the 9th of January for trees to start being collected. The city says they will try to do their best to pick up the trees during regular scheduled garbage times, but there could be a day or two delay on that, so just be flexible a little bit there. However, you are being reminded to make sure you leave the tree about 3 to 5 feet away from your trash, and then make sure all the decorations are taken off that tree. All right, this is the big national story of the morning. ESPN, NFL Network, all the major networks, ABC today on NBC, they're all talking about it. It's that sad situation, a scary situation from last night's Monday Night Football game where Bills safety Damar Hamlin went down. He collapsed on the field, eventually was taken off in an ambulance. So this morning we found out from a statement from the Bills releasing a statement on Twitter. That happened about 1 o'clock this morning, so we haven't had a real update for quite some time now. But they say that 24-year-old safety, who is Damar Hamlin, suffered a cardiac arrest event and is still in critical condition this morning. We are hearing word that his doctor is saying that they hope to get him breathing on his own in the next 24 hours, but right now he's sedated and he's intubated, so just a very scary situation. If you watched the game last night or have seen the video of it, it's, we talked about this morning that it wasn't necessarily a very violent scene at the face value, but once you learn that his heart actually stopped, you see him collapse on the field, it just kind of takes on a new meaning. It's kind of hard to see, just kind of bone chilling, just a sense of sadness. So kind of to recap, Hamlin collapsed on the field following a hit that he made on wide receiver T. Higgins. Following the tackle, Hamlin stood up for a few seconds, then you see him collapse out onto the field, and then after the incident, after he fell, I should say, he was administered CPR for several minutes. About 25 minutes to 30 minutes later, he was finally taken out of the stadium on an ambulance to the local hospital. And then the coaches on both sides came together with the refs, agreed to stop play. And then about an hour later, they postponed the game. Still no word on when any plans for the game to be resumed are or anything like that. Everything this morning is focused squarely on Hamlin's health, and everyone is praying and hoping for the best outcome there. Some Bills players flew back this morning. A handful of other ones stayed in Cincinnati to kind of just be with the family, be by his side in case, he wakes up or they need anything or anything like that. So sad story. We're all hoping for the best. I'm sure Dom Izzo will talk about that more on Hot Mic this morning, which you can watch on InForum.com or WDAY Extra. So those are the headlines I got for you this morning. You can get updates on all of that stuff throughout the day on our newscasts at 11, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. And of course, you can still get that all access pass to InForum.com for 99 cents a month for your first 3 months. So take advantage of that while you still can, and have a great day. Thanks for joining us, folks. Bye-bye.